Hi friends, in previous video we have covered our topics like basic syntax, data types, variable, constant and literals. But today we will learn about operators, decision making, loops and function. Our video has 4 segments, so watch the full video. Let's get started. First we will talk about operators. An operator is a symbol that tells the compiler to perform specific mathematical or logical functions. C language is rich in built-in operators and provides the following type of operators. That is arithmetic operators, relational operators and logical operators. First, we will take an example of arithmetical operators. Let's say A equal to 10, B equal to 20, and sorry, I didn't declare it. Okay, C. C equal to A plus B. This is something adding both the variables, that is A and B. The operator that is being used is called arithmetical operator. The other is C equal to A minus B. This is also a arithmetical operator. Or maybe C equal to A steric B, which is multiplying both A and B. Slash A, that means it divide B to C. Now B percentage A, where percentage indicates the modulus operator and modulus operator and remainder of after an integer division. These all are arithmetic operators that we used in mathematics. Let's say A plus plus. This is also an arithmetic operator that means that increment the value by 1 or decrement the value by 1 by putting it minus minus. Alright, the other thing that we are discussing is relational operators. Now what are relational operators? Relational operator, we mean that by comparing two variables to each other. Here we are using that is two equality sign, which means that and other is exclamation mark with sign and greater than or less than. These all are relational operators, that one quantity is related to another in some mean equality, inequality, greater than or equal or less than. This double equality sign means that A or having one quantity is equal to the other, and there is another which is not equal to, that is exclamation mark with an equality symbol, or the greater than, that A is greater than B or A is less than B. These all are relational operators which relate one quantity to the other. Next thing is logical operator. Logical operator by mean we have a logic behind the quantity that we are using. Alright, the two ampersand or and operator that we are actually using in our program, that is double and, we represent and operation. If A and B equal to this, then do this and so on. Alright, This is used for conditional statements. These logical operators are used for conditional statements. Here ampersand, double ampersand, and the double slash is used for uh, or operator. That is if A or B. Like these are the logical operators. Now the second segment of our video is decision making. Decision making structure requires that the programmer specified one or more conditions to be evaluated or tested by the program, along with the statement or statements to be executed if the condition is determined to be true, and optionally other statements to be executed if the condition is determined to be false. For example, in this picture, there is a diamond shape block which contains statement or condition in it. If the condition is true, then it goes to another conditional code. Like if it rain outside, this is a condition. If it is true, then stay at home. If it is not true or false, then go outside. Each condition has two flows. Either it is true or either it is false. If it is true, then conditional code will execute, and if it not true, then the program will terminate. C language provides the following type of decision making statements. That is if statement, if else statement, nested if statements, and switch statements. All statements or all conditional statements have their own perspective, have their own property, have their own usage. Let's take an example. Int a equal to 10. B equal to 20. We are assigning the values of A and B, and both are integer type. If round brackets B is greater than A, we set the condition that if B equal to 8, then print F. Now, sorry, B is greater, let's say. Backslash n is for next line. That after printing it, the compiler will go to the next line. This is the simplest example of if statement. Continue with it. Let's take an example of if else statement. Print f A is greater. While compiling the code, the compiler may first notices that the condition, if B is greater than A, then it prints the B is greater. If this condition false, then it comes to else block and prints A is greater. Now take a look on nested if statement. Nested if statement means more than one if in if module. Like if taking another variable of same data type and C equal to 30. If C is greater than A, it has its own block within if block. Printf C is greater. Now taking another switch statement. A switch statement allows a variable to be tested for equality against a list of values. Each value is called a case, and the variable being switched on it is checked for each switch case. Let's take an example. Character grade. I'm using character and using a variable that is grade. Assign it to a specific grade that is B. Alright. Now switch grade case colon A colon. Alright, the character may be in between a single quote. Now printf. Excellent. Break. Terminator second case colon B colon. These are the cases in switch statement, where whether if this case is not true, then go to the other case and so on. That is, I'm for B grade I'm taking good. The other case is C. If grade is C, print okay, I forgot to add break. Alright. Nice. C grade is nice. But actually it is not. Break and default. When a break statement is reached, the switch terminates and the flow of control jumps to the next line following the switch statement. Now after default, predefined or add a simple statement, like invalid grade. Okay, not every case needs to contain a break. If no break appears, the flow of control will fall through to the subsequent cases until a break is reached. A switch statement can have an optional default case, which must appear at the end of the statement or switch. The default case can be used for performing a task when none of the cases is true. No break is needed to in default case. Third segment of video is loops. When you may encounter situation when a block of code needs to be executed several number of times. In general, statements are executed sequentially. The first statement in a function is executed first, followed by the second, and so on. Programming languages provide various control structures that allow for more complicated executing parts. A loop statement allows us to execute a statement or group of statements multiple times. Given below is a general form of loop statement in most of the following programming languages. Here in this picture, there is a condition. If this condition is true, it will go to the conditional code. After that, it repeatedly go to the condition. When condition is false, then it goes to the termination of the program until it repeat conditional code, and after that it will go inside the code and repeat itself. Here we have three kind of loops, that is while, do while, and for loop. Let's take an example. Int a equal to 10 while a is less than 20. Printf value of a colon backslash n comma a. It will print the value of a and increment a plus plus, which means that a is incremented by 1. Have you noticed that when the condition a is less than 20 is true, then the while block will execute it. If it is false, then the while block will not execute and the program will terminate. Now take another example of for loop, which is similar to that, and repeat this example or try this example in for loop. The syntax of for loop is for int I equal 0. I'm initialize I within for loop. I is less than 20, I plus plus. In for block, printf hello world. But here I am going to print the value of a. When and only when the value of I is less than 20. Alright? Then the value of a will print. Now take the same example with do while loop. Do, and after do there is a statement. If, scanf, relational operator, anything. Here I am adding %d so that the value of a will print. A plus plus, yeah, a plus 2 maybe. It means that a is incremented by 2. A plus plus means that it was incremented by 1. And after do, we are taking condition of while. It works in the same way that in while loop, but there is different syntax, there are different examples, there are different styles to do the program. So there are 3 kind of loops. Now take another example, that is nested loop. Nested loop is a kind of loop which is within a loop. A loop within a loop is called nested loop. Like for int I equal to 0, I is less than 20, I plus plus. And in for block there is another for loop. For int, let's say some other variable, that is j equal to 0, j is less than, let's take another variable so that the example may quite easier to you. Let's const int equal to size. So that the value of size will never change because I'm using a constant. Here replace the size by 20 minus 1 and j is less than size, and j plus plus. In inner for loop, place some statement or anything like hello world. After that, for the previous for loop, place another print statement. Let's say hello world. Again hello world. The other segment of the video is function. A function is a group of statements that together perform a task. Every C program has at least one function, which is main. Okay? Let's close all the windows. Always we are work in main program. So the main is also a function. It itself is a function. Main is a function. And all the most trivial programs can define additional functions. You can divide up your code into several functions. How you divide up your code among different functions is up to you. But logically, the division is such that each function performs a specific task. Yeah, it's really amazing to divide or simplify your code by creating a function, so many functions, and just called them into a main. Let's create a function. Here I'm declaring a function. Let's say I'm taking an int type function max, which return the maximum value. You may provide any name to your function, which is easier to you. And this is my parameterized function that I'm int num2. Alright, that I'm taking number 1 and number 2 from user, and this is the declaration of my function. Int main. In main, you have to just call your function where it is placed in your program. If your code is about 2000 lines or your code is placed in the end of the program, no worries, you just call it by its name in main. This is called the calling. Now after calling the compiler, when you run the program, the compiler will check line by line, and it first enter into the main, and when it finds that max 2 comma 3, so it's find where is your code or where is your function is placed. Here you are declared that your function is max, but after main you have to initialize, you have to give value, you have to give statements, so that the compiler will execute that statements after calling or seeing that you are called a function. Then it go that function and executes all the statements. Let's say int result. If number 1 is greater than number 2, result equal to number 1. Terminate. Else result equal to number 2. And return the result. We have to return the result Because we are returning result because the function type is int type, which means that a function value should be returned. Calling there, when the compiler see that you are calling the function in main, then it executes all these statements, and when it get the result, it can provide you into your console according to your statements, that if you have entered the print or scanf, whatever it is. These are all the statements. A function may return a value, always return a value, if it has a data type other than void. I hope from all examples you have familiar about the loops, function, condition, statements and operators. If you like this video, then share with your friends, and if any query, then comment below and watch other videos so you will clear about all the concepts of C language. Thanks for watching.